found this video and you clicked to watch it, then chances are you love Halloween just as much as I do, which is great news because I've really already been thinking about spooky season and Halloween and trying to figure out what I want to do for the season. I always make a ton of plans because I just love living up spooky season. But this year it got me thinking of what are some fun things that adults can do to celebrate spooky season and that adults can do on Halloween night. So I decided to put together a list of about like 23 different things for adults to do to have fun on Halloween that are nostalgic, they're fun, they're not all centered around, going out and partying. There's a good mix of different things and activities to do, things that are free, things that are paid for, and just a great way to celebrate spooky season with friends, family, with your partner, or like even by yourself. So I put this all on the blog. Of course, that'll be linked in the description below, but if you're more of a visual person and you want me to just talk about it, then this is going to be the great video for you. Make sure you subscribe and leave me a comment of what ideas pique your interest or any ideas that I might miss in this video. But let's go ahead and get into 23 things that I think would be really fun for adults to do to celebrate Halloween. All right, so my first idea is doing a Halloween bar crawl. Now, this is something that you can do either with your partner, with your friends. Pretty much all of these are things you can do by yourself or with a group of people, but probably want to do a bar crawl with a group of people so you can look out for each other. But you can look for local bar crawls that are in your town. I live in Los Angeles, so there's always these types of events going on in my neighborhood and in other neighborhoods within Los Angeles. And so you can look for something that's already pre-planned, or if you're like me and you like control and you want to go to some of your favorites or maybe try something new, you can curate an entire bar crawl for yourself and just send that invitation out to your friends and let them know where you're going to be at and give them a loose time frame so maybe they can't meet you for the first bar crawl, but they join you for the second bar. So this is something that I'm actually doing for my husband's birthday later on, like at the end of August. I've actually helped him put together a bar crawl for his friends and him to do, and it's going to be a lot of fun. It's really not that difficult. Like truly just pick an area or a region and then pick like 3 or 4 or 5 different bars that you want to go to. Route it out, like make a map of the route that you're going to do to visit these bars, and then just send it out to your friends and tell them, meet me here. I think for Halloween it will be really fun to actually come in costume. Maybe check and see if you get a free drink if you come in costume, or if there's like a costume contest going on at the bars you're visiting, because that would be an extra element of spookiness. All right, the second thing is hosting a retro Halloween party. So I'm a mid-90s girl. I grew up and I feel like the best time for Halloween, which is like the late 90s, early 2000s, and we just had the best parties. Like I always hosted a Halloween party with my friends. We would do classic games and we would go trick-or-treating. And I think you can definitely bring elements of that into a retro themed Halloween party for you and your friends. Like go in classic Halloween costumes that you would do as a kid, like the classic like witch, vampire, ghost face, things like that. Have like bobbing for apples. I don't know if anyone else used to do this, but I used to do a game where you would get a string, tie it around a donut, hang it from the ceiling, and then you'd have to put your hands behind your back and try and like catch the donut like with no hands, just with your mouth, and whoever finished their donut first like would win a prize. So just think of fun, silly like kids games and just keep it like fun, retro, nostalgic, and I think that'll be a really fun throwback for all of your friends. Okay, my third idea is hosting or going to a murder mystery dinner. So this is something you can do locally. I know I recently went to a murder mystery or kind of like whodunit dinner that was hosted at a hotel by a specific organization, and that was really fun. But I also think it might be really fun to host your own murder mystery dinner. You can get a kit or totally make it up yourself. It's going to be a little bit of a challenge, but hey, it's early enough before Halloween that you have some time to think about this and plan it. But I think that's a really fun way to host a nice, fun event for your friends, but also get everyone talking and engaged in the same activity. Because I love when you go to a party and there's like things to do instead of just kind of bouncing around, hanging around. But I love a good activity, and a murder mystery dinner seems like a really fun thing to do, especially for Halloween and spooky season. And number 4 is going to a local Halloween experience. So depending on where you live, I'm sure your city offers different events, whether it's like a pumpkin patch or a stroll through a garden full of pumpkin carvings or anything like that. I know living in LA, we have a million different events, like so much so that I can never go to every single event that I want to go to because there's just so many things to do. But I do love doing this. I do love going to a local event and experience, especially with my friends, especially with my partner. It's just a really great way to get together and to kind of step outside of your comfort zone and connect with the community, connect with your friends, and have a spooky time doing it. Kind of on a similar line to going to like a local experience is actually going to a theme park Halloween celebration. Like I said, I'm in Los Angeles and we have a ton of different theme park experiences to do. We have Not Scary Farms, there's Oogie Boogie Bash at Disneyland, there's Halloween Horror Nights, there's like the Scary Nights at Six Flags and different events like that. We're lucky to have, of course, a million different theme parks in the Southern California region. But I mean, even if it's just a local theme park, a smaller scale theme park, I'm sure you have one in your vicinity, hopefully, that you can get to that's hosting a really fun Halloween kind of experience extravaganza. So I think it would be great to take your partner or go with a group of friends, go with a group of family, and just check out a theme park Halloween celebration if you've never done that before. All right, so for those of you who associate Halloween with horror, this one's for you because I think you should get together with your friends and host a horror movie marathon. There's a few different ways that you can do this. You can go, retro horror, like the old stuff like Frankenstein and all those kind of black and white kind of horror films. Or you can do maybe slashers. You can do different themes. Maybe you want to do a specific franchise, like you are just going to get together and binge all of the Conjuring and Insidious movies. Whatever that may be, I think you should pick a theme or pick a category or something within the horror genre and then get a group of friends together. Pile on the cozy pillows, the cozy blankets, your cozy PJs, cozy slippers. Get all the yummy, yummy, yummy snacks for Halloween, like the sugar cookies and anything else that just brings ultimate coziness, and just completely veg out and have a Halloween horror movie night marathon. That is like peak Halloween to me. All right, my next idea of fun things for adults to do on Halloween is actually having a themed costume contest. I don't know if you've picked up on it by now, but I love a good theme and I love to throw a good party. And so I think combining those two would be really fun for a costume contest. You can have different categories or set an overall theme, like maybe you do an iconic villains theme, or you do 2000s rappers, or favorite animated films, or even like a Shrek party. Something with a fun theme that people will know exactly what to wear or like kind of have a guideline, because I think when you just say have a Halloween costume party, it can be a little bit overwhelming to kind of see everyone's different take on what a costume is. But if you give specific guidelines to a theme, I think you'll get a really fun turnout and people who are just going to have the funnest time trying to guess who each other is. You might even get some twins or some duplicates, which is always really funny. So yeah, I just think it would be really fun to have a specifically themed Halloween costume contest. All right, my next idea is hosting or going to a Halloween trivia night. So you can probably go to like a local bar or restaurant and see if they're having a Halloween trivia night already, or you can do this yourself by putting together questions. Or there's also really great resources on the internet of people who have already put things together for different trivia nights. So one place I like to look is obviously on YouTube, because sometimes you can find videos that have questions and then they'll pause and then reveal the answers so that you actually have time to interact with that content and interact with that trivia. Or another thing that I've actually done for a previous Halloween party is that I did a Halloween Jeopardy, and I got a Halloween Jeopardy pack from Etsy. So it was downloadable content. I just paid like $5 for it, but it was awesome. It was really easy to navigate. So there's plenty of ways that you can do a Halloween trivia night that aren't just like you trying to figure out questions or you having to like go out of your way to go to a new restaurant or something to interact with a bunch of people. Because I know I get really awkward when it's trivia in front of a bunch of strangers. I just kind of freeze up and I just forget every single thing that I've known about whatever the topic is. So it might be a little bit more comfortable for you to actually host this at your own house with people that you're comfortable with and can have a good time with. Okay, this next idea is actually one of my favorite ideas because I love books and I love reading spooky books. I don't necessarily read a lot of like horror or things like that, but I love reading books about like magic and witches and covens and fantastic creatures and fantasy and stuff, which I think could be part of the spooky Halloween genre. But anyways, this one is actually hosting a spooky Halloween themed book club night. So with this idea, you can get your book club together or a group of friends who just like reading, get them together on October 1st and decide on which book you want to read that's somewhat in the Halloween spooky genre. So it can be horror, it can be thriller, it can be mystery, it can be fantasy. And I think that would be really fun to do. So you select your book, then you take almost the entire month of October to make sure everyone reads it, gets everyone on the same page for the discussion. And then you come together on Halloween night or sometime around the end of October to get together, host a book club meeting where you have food and drinks that are on theme with the book, and you just get together and you discuss it, and you can even dress up as the characters that you're reading about. But I love the idea of a spooky book club night because it's just a fun way to, one, get in some more books like under your reading belt, and two, get together with other like-minded individuals who love reading and who love the spooky season. I just think this is a really fun idea because it allows you to kind of really soak up all the spooky season Halloween vibes throughout the entire month of October, rather than just having, one party or one event that you go to one day in October. This allows you to start the very beginning and go through the very end with all spooky vibes. All right, I have to warn you, a lot of these ideas are about parties because I love a good party or a gathering, if you want to call it that, a get together. But my next idea for things adults can do for Halloween is to actually have a spooky cocktail party. So I've actually seen these a lot on TikTok where people will go and they'll host a party that's like Shrek themed or something like that, and people will bring different cocktails or beverages that are kind of themed along Shrek. I've seen them do this with Star Wars, like the cute little Yoda martinis or other drinks that are inspired by a movie, a TV show, or a general category. And I think for a spooky cocktail party, you can just have your theme be Halloween. So maybe one guest is bringing a cocktail that is like a blood orange margarita and it looks like, vampire's blood or something like that. Or you have other drinks inspired by different spooky characters, spooky movies, other kind of Halloween elements. But I think this is really fun because you can do this with cocktails or you can do this with mocktails, and really all you have to do is bring a really fun beverage and get together and have a good time. All right, so of course I love all of these different ideas, but this one has a special place in my heart, which is an escape room challenge. Escape rooms are something that my husband introduced me to when we started dating, and since then, like 5 years ago, we've done dozens and dozens of escape rooms. We've recruited more of our friends and family to start doing escape rooms too. We even have a group of cousins of mine that we get together maybe once or twice every other month to actually do escape rooms together. And I think it'll be really fun to actually have an escape room challenge with some friends and family for the spooky season, because escape rooms have different genres. You can do really nice and cute and fun ones, you can do adventurous ones, or like the ones I like to do, or you could do the scary ones, and there are tons of different scary ones all around you to do. So you can just do one, or you can spice it up and do, back-to-back escape rooms, or even 3 escape rooms in a row, or maybe you do 3 escape rooms in a day, and then you break it up with like lunch and dinner in between. So yeah, I think it will be really fun to try and do an escape room challenge, especially if they're horror or scary themed, and you like a little bit of a challenge, you want to think a little bit more, and you want to kind of test your friends and see how well you guys actually interact with each other, because I love doing escape rooms, and I think doing an escape room for Halloween would be epic. Kind of on the same line of like a spooky cocktail party, I think it'd be really great to do a Halloween potluck party where each guest brings a different dish that is Halloween themed. So maybe you'll bring mummy wrapped hot dogs, or maybe it's witch finger cookies or something like that. And then you just lay it all out on a table and just have an array of really fun spooky foods, and you just enjoy the food and you talk and you hang out and maybe put on a scary movie if you want. But it's really low key, it's really low pressure, and it's just a really good way to get everybody together for Halloween. All right, again, if you're into scary things, not just watching a scary movie, but actually being scared, then you should definitely get a group together and go visit a haunted house. So no matter where you are located, I'm sure there's a haunted house or something going on in your town, whether it's like actually a haunted house or it's like a haunted house that is like more of an event or an experience put on by a company. Either one will do, but I mean, what's more classic than going to a haunted house for Halloween? I mean, it's not just for kids. It's actually, I don't even know why in scary movies they say like kids and teenagers are going to haunted houses, because that's definitely not something that I was doing. And I'm honestly still scared now. But I think that'd be really fun for a group of adults to do. Oh, guess what? I have another dinner party idea for you. But this time it's a Gothic dinner party. I'm talking mood lighting, lots and lots of candles. Everybody is wearing black. This can be like a coven witch party, whatever you want to do, whatever your interpretation of Gothic is. But just get real moody. Serve squid ink pasta. Serve blackberry cocktails. Anything that is just dark and moody. That is just such the vibe for Halloween. All right, next up is having a pumpkin carving contest with your friends. This is something that you can do after you've all maybe just gone to a pumpkin patch together, or maybe it's BYOP, bring your own pumpkin, and you just get together, you carve a ton of pumpkins, everybody has a different design, and at the end you can kind of actually rank and vote for who has the best. Maybe you all pitch in $20 to get a cool prize at the end for whoever has the best designed pumpkin, but I love a good competition. I love a good spooky activity. And I think this idea of a pumpkin carving contest within your friends kind of marries the two. And I think that would be really fun for your group of friends. All right, so for all of my cozy, spooky girlies and people who like Halloween, but they like the cutesy side of Halloween, like maybe you're not watching Friday the 13th, but maybe you're watching Charlie Brown and It's a Great Pumpkin. You know, something a little bit cuter, something a little bit more spooky, less scary. Then I think you should host a Halloween DIY crafts night where you're maybe doing needle felt activities, maybe you're painting bookmarks, or one of my favorite ideas right now that I've been seeing around TikTok, I saw it last year, I'm seeing it again this year, is doing the thrifted painting, like the thrifted ghost painting. So you go to a thrift store, you get a cool painting of like nature or whatever you want, and then you bring it home and you actually add on little ghosts and pumpkins to that painting to make it a spooky painting. I'm actually trying to plan doing that this year with some friends, so I'm excited to actually do my own little Halloween DIY craft night, but I just think it's another great way to have a spooky experience without feeling like it has to be all driven with horror or things that are scary. All right, I still have some more ideas, and the next one is having a costume karaoke night. And of course, you can do a regular karaoke night if you want, but I think adding in the element of Halloween costumes is even more fun. And to make it even a step spookier is to have specific genre of Halloween songs to sing. So I'm talking about singing Thriller, doing the dance to Thriller, doing the Monster Mash, all these like spooky songs, like get in some Evanescence if you want to, but make everything normal but with a Halloween and spooky flair. And I think that's kind of what I'm getting at with a lot of these ideas is you can take things that you would normally do with your friends, but make it spooky by adding a certain element of Halloween to it. And I think doing a costume karaoke night is just that. Next up is having an outdoor movie night. If you're fortunate enough to have a place that you have your own backyard or a yard space, then you can do an outdoor movie night in the backyard. You can set up a projector against a wall or a sheet, get, your sleeping bags or a tent or just a blanket and chairs and just lay out and have an outdoor movie night with your friends. But if you're like me and you don't necessarily have an outdoor space where you can do an outdoor movie night, then I definitely recommend checking out your local drive-in theaters. Yes, drive-ins are still a thing. Even though so many around me are closing down, there are still a few that are thriving, and I hope you have some drive-in theaters near you that you can go to, because I'm sure a lot of them are going to be doing special features of horror movies or Halloween movies that you can go and watch. And so take yourself, take your partner, take your friends to the drive-ins and go see an outdoor movie this Halloween. All right, I have another themed night for you, and this one is a Halloween-themed game night. So this is something you can do with a typical board game like Clue or a murder mystery board game even, or you can do something on the Switch, like you can do Scary Luigi's Mansion. You can get a VR set up and try and do like a haunted house walkthrough with a VR system, or pretty much play any other thrilling, scary game, whether it's like a physical game or it's a digital game, but just get a group of friends together and do and play some spooky games. Okay, I just have 4 more ideas for you, and this one is going to be having a spooky spa night. So this is one of the options that you can actually do by yourself if you really wanted to, or you can turn it into like a girls' night in or a friends hangout or anything like that. But having a spooky spa night would be really cute. I imagined it being having a nice bubble bath. Maybe you use a bath bomb that's scented with a nice fall scent like cardamom or something oaky or smells like the wood. I think that would be really nice. Once you do that, give yourself a little facial, maybe something that's pumpkin scented or anything along those lines. And then just let your feet soak in a little warm bowl of water, or if you have one of those little foot massagers, let your feet soak while you sit back on the couch being cuddled up in your blanket watching Practical Magic or another very, very cozy fall leaning Halloween or spooky movie. I think having a spa spooky night would be like so relaxing, and I definitely think you should put that on the top of your list of things to do in October. All right, so going back to the idea of a haunted house, instead of going to a haunted house, perhaps you're into history more and you take a haunted history tour. So I'm in LA, and there's a lot of haunted places here, actually, more than I anticipated. Like, we have haunted hotels, that's like a really big one. There's haunted old homes and a ton of different haunted places that you can go to. And there's actually some local groups that organize spooky tours and late night kind of haunted tours of these historical sites. So that's definitely something you should check out. I know more towns have more spooky things than others, but just check it out and see what your town has to offer, or do some research and see if there's any other like historical sites that are haunted that you can just go and check out. Okay, the second to last idea I have is going or hosting a dark comedy show. So you can either go to a comedy show put on by a local comic that has dark humor. Maybe they're hosting a show that's Halloween themed or anything along those lines. Or you can just kind of host a fun little dark comedy night with your friends. Write up some weird dark humor jokes or jokes that are all about Halloween and fun puns. So I think that could be different, it's unique, and I think it's a really fun idea. And then lastly, one that I think I will definitely be doing is have a witchcraft workshop night. Whether or not you go and maybe take a class on learning tarot with your friends, or you have your coven and your friends come to you, or you go to one of your friends' house to actually kind of practice tarot together, or practice palm reading, or practice your spell making, or anything like that. Just kind of tap into your witchy side a little bit, learn about different herbs, different spells, different elixirs and potions and things like that. I'm not saying you have to cast any spells or do a Ouija board, but I don't know, just learn a little bit more about it, figure out what kind of thing piques your interest, and dive deep into it together with your friends and your community. And of course, you can throw in some witchy movies on in the background, like Hocus Pocus, The Craft, other movies like that. I love any excuse to put on a Halloween movie, and I think having a witchcraft workshop kind of goes along with that. Okay, I can't believe it. I just went through that entire list, and if you want more details or if you want to see that list written out, make sure you visit the blog on the Borderline Millennials website. That's linked in the description below. And of course, if you want more content, especially about spooky season Halloween, make sure you give me a follow on TikTok and on Instagram at Borderline Millennials everywhere. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe, because I'd love for you to get notifications when I send out new videos. It's not that often. I'm working on being a little bit more consistent, but when I do release a video, you can be sure that it's going to be really fun and really informative for you. So make sure you give me a follow, and thanks for tuning into this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye friends, happy spooky season.